But at the end of the day, you've got to buy and sell what you have access to. That's really what I want to talk about some in this video, is exploring new categories. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So this is Bama Jaybird Resell. I'm Josh, as always. Sorry again about the voice. I'm still struggling to get well from all the sickness over the holidays. But I did want to record a little bit today. I've got several items going out after the new year. But let's get right into it. So I've got 14 items going out the door today for $508.33. I had the big CD buy from a person who buys out storage lockers. I got, 2 or 3 boxes and tubs of CDs for 30 bucks. And they were all, fairly old. They were like 80s and 90s, a lot of old rap, a lot of old metal and rock. And so I know CDs ordinarily, I would never suggest that you go out and just buy a bunch of CDs. It's a trap. Most of them sell for, $1, $2 or $3. It's very saturated. There's tons of them available in most genres. But because of the age of these and the genre that they came from, I felt like there was a good potential to make a good profit. And I've already been selling some of these. I was slow to get them sorted and listed. I had to do some cleaning and a lot of research to try to start sorting them out into their various genres and kind of pick and choose which ones were good to sell like they were. I've got one selling today. This sold for $7.50 plus ship. This is Torah Tor Torah, or maybe Torah Torah. I said it 3 times, I think, because of the movie. Being a history teacher, the old Pearl Harbor movie, of course, that was so good. But this is Torah Torah, Surprise Attack. So got $7.50 plus ship for that. And I feel like that's pretty good. Again, I only gave $30 for the whole box. So what I've been trying to do is go through and scan them all and pull out anything that I thought I could get $7 to $10 plus shipping for or more. And I've had quite a few. I've got probably 30 or 40 listed in those categories. And then I'm going to have a whole lot that I can list in sets of 8 or 10 of the same artist, same genre, that type of thing, and probably command $20 to $40 or $50, maybe even more on a larger group for some of those. This next one is, this actually I picked up at the thrift store, but this is just a Taylor Swift CD, Speak Now. It's actually missing one of the discs. So this was a special edition, I think, from Target. They had a regular disc in it, but the bonus disc is the one that most people are interested in. And so the bonus disc was still there, and that's the Target exclusive content. So it has some songs on it that you don't find in other places, and also a video behind the scenes, behind the set, that type of thing. So this still sold for 10 bucks plus shipping. I probably could have got 20 or 25 if both discs had been in it. All right. The next one I have going out, this is also a music CD. This is the Rollins Band, End of Silence. Again, this is just a hard rock, metal type band, and kind of a more rare disc. I got this $16 plus shipping for this one. Just the Rollins and the Torah Torah CD is close to $25, and again, only gave $30 for the box. So I believe I'm going to make a lot of money off of that buy before it's all said and done, once I get them all listed up and continue, of course, making sales. That's about the 5th or 6th CD already that I've sold out of that big buy, and I've got lots more still to go through and list. I'm just now kind of getting them sorted. I've got a lot left to do. If you like what you see, guys, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and ring that notification bell so you know when I'm putting out new content. None of that costs you anything. Give me a thumbs up, man. Those help so much. In addition to all that, guys, leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. I really want to do stuff that matters. I want to produce content that you want to see. And if I need to make changes in how I present, what I'm talking about, how I'm doing things, I want to know. I want to know what fits, what works, and what you enjoy. And so that way I can focus on trimming things up and doing a better job. I want to take this serious and grow in this new year. So you guys take care. Let's get back to the video. These next items, as you know, I sell a good bit of clothes. Clothes aren't, they're not like my favorite thing to target, but you'd probably be thinking opposite of that if you watch my videos, because probably half or better of every what sold video that I put out winds up being clothing. But it's just a very easy category for me to source in. And I know I've said that a lot, but I do believe that, you know, I want to target things that are higher value, and I would love to buy more electronics, more vintage stuff. But at the end of the day, you've got to buy and sell what you have access to. And if I have more access to clothing than other things, then I thought it important for me as a reseller to learn those categories better and become better at identifying what will sell and what I can make money on from those categories. So that's why I sell a lot of clothing. I'm in this to try to make a living. If it was all about just selling what was my favorite, I mean, I get that. I wish I could do that. Some resellers, you know, I've heard the statement, you know, if I had to sell something I didn't like, I'd do a different job. Well, I've already did a different job. I still like this job better. I'm just trying to find my way and learn more as I go. And that's really what I want to talk about some in this video, is exploring new categories. I think that's very important as a reseller. I know some really push the idea of the niche and just focusing on one thing. And I realize that if you have a store that revolves around one category, then you can probably more quickly develop a clientele that come back to you over and over again to shop from you. I mean, I get that, I really do. But you have to have such good access to inventory. Supply is an issue when you just focus on one item or one category as a niche, especially out here in a rural area where I'm from. So I'm an everything seller, as I've said many times. I sell whatever I can find that I can buy and resell for a profit. Let's take a look at some of the clothing items. So this next one, this is you know, Nike's always a pretty good brand, but this is, you can't tell a lot about it. It's just a Nike golf vest. I didn't get a huge price for this. I got $16 plus ship, but usually on items like this, I don't give more than about $5, and I try to focus on brands and items that I feel like have a better chance of selling, especially, you know, looking at sell-through rates. It's always important. It don't matter what category that you're sourcing. It doesn't matter what item that you're looking to buy. Know those sell-through rates. Make sure you're buying something that will move. I do think there's some flexibility sometimes in clothing, more so than maybe some others do. I do think pricing has a lot to do with it. If there's a huge volume, again, of a particular item selling, and yet the sell-through rate seems to be a fairly low percentage, sometimes it's about getting your price into that sweet spot where if you could calculate sell-through rate for that price, you would find that the sell-through rate in that price range is actually pretty good. That being said, you can't overpay. You have to make sure that you're being very mindful of your cost of goods and what you're actually investing in your product that you're trying to sell. I don't want to get too guilty of rambling. I'm bad to do that, but this next item, this is a pair of jeans. These are just pull-on. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they're Jag brand. It's probably hard to see that through the plastic. But these are Jag Jeans. It's kind of like a boutique-like brand for women. This particular pair, I got $15 plus shipping for those. And I'll reiterate this for anybody that's new, that's watching. A large majority of the clothing that I sell, I buy from one of 2 or 3 thrift stores that are in my area where I can most often, it's kind of like buying at the bins. I rarely spend more than $2.50 or $3 per item. And a lot of times they run like half off days, and I'll be paying, $1 or just a little over $1 an item for a lot of what I buy. So when I'm able to post something or list something and sell it for $15 that I've got no more than 3, maybe as little as $1 in, I've got a pretty good profit margin. I can also outprice a lot of people and move my product faster and turn the money over faster, and therefore, increase my sales and my odds of making a sale, even in a category that is more saturated or that doesn't have as good a sell-through rate. There's a lot of factors at play. The best thing to do is buy high sell-through rate items. But if you don't have that option every time, pay attention to your cost of goods. Sometimes you can price yourself into moving an item faster if you price it right. All right, next item. So this is a kind of a no-brainer. Those of you that are familiar with cookware, you know that there's certain brands, Salad Master, which this is being one of them. This is just one of the VAP lids, I think is what it's called. It's got the little pop-up steamer in it. But even the lids will resell if you find these out in a thrift store or at a yard sale. I got $19 plus shipping for this, so $19.99. And, you know, that seems crazy that just for a lid. But again, people are looking for this stuff. And Salad Master is such a popular brand. It doesn't even have to be the pot. Just the lid itself is a good buy sometimes. And I think I gave like $2 for that at my local thrift store. So $2 into $19.99 plus shipping. Next item. Okay, this is another clothing item. Now, one thing I do is I try to focus on when I'm buying clothing, not just on price, but I try to focus on, I try to find vintage stuff because vintage sells better a lot of times. I also try to focus on materials that are more in demand, materials that are usually higher quality items. And so I look for things like wool, silks, linens. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out, but you kind of get my point. You know, there's certain fabrics, certain materials, there's certain things that kind of command a higher price. And even within that, sometimes you will find little bits and pieces, you know, specifics like merino wool or cashmere. You know, there's other little descriptors that if you find garments that are made from those types of items, alpaca, you know, there's so many things, mohair, that do so well if you find them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a brand that you've heard of, though the better the brand, the better it sells. So this is Talbot's, which is not a bad brand, but it's also not, you know, it's not probably the top brand in the world necessarily, and it's not the greatest size. This is a medium, but this is a 100% wool, American-made, union-made jacket made by Talbot, so it's vintage. And I gave $3 for this, and I sold it for $18 plus shipping. So to me, that's a good sale, and it probably wasn't listed. I listed that like 2 weeks ago, so it's not like it took a long time to sell. You look that up and you'd think, oh, that might be on there forever. I priced it competitively. I didn't try to get $30 for it. Let's get it out the door and get it gone. Took that offer of $18. Next item. Some of you that sell clothes, you're going to be familiar, of course, with the Vintage Champion, the reverse weave especially. This is a South Carolina, University of South Carolina sweatshirt, reverse weave. Super nice. It's got a little bit of fade to it in the screen print, which kind of, to me, gives it that vintage, that cool patina. And anyway, it's a really nice sweatshirt. I got $25 plus ship for this. That sold really fast as well. I haven't had that listed, but I think 2 or 3 weeks. I listed about the same time as I did the Talbot's jacket. All right, next item. Now, this one has been listed for a little while, but again, I think it was $3 for this here in town. This is a vintage Robert Graham shirt. You'll notice it's got a really cool paisley pattern on it. Cool colors, reds, purples, golds. And this is an extra large. So this one, again, this is an older Robert Graham. And if you know much about your dress shirts, Robert Graham is a good brand to pay attention to. If you get them cheap, some of them can sell for big money, depending on the patterns and depending on the exact edition that it is. You know, there's different labels, different levels kind of the quality. But this one here sold pretty good. Sold for $30 plus shipping. I did take an offer on it. I think I had it listed at like $39.99 or something like that. But I was ready for it to move. Next item, also vintage. I thought this was so cool when I found it. I almost kept it. But especially considering this is Alabama and Colorado from back in the day. This is the 90s from the second Blockbuster Bowl. So I thought this had a lot of cool things going for it. Not only, of course, with Coach Prime drawing so much media attention at Colorado, but Alabama and Nick Saban. But then also Blockbuster. You know, I mean, you got that little tie there too. Blockbuster Video back in the old VHS days. Just a lot of cool things going on. It's a single stitch. I picked this up at one of the other thrift stores that are nearby where I don't get as good a deal on clothes. I think I gave like $5.99 for this. But man, I was just in love with it from the minute I saw it. And I wound up taking an offer of $35 plus shipping. All right, so just a couple more items here. I got a pair of bib overalls. Guys, these are, and I'm not making fun. Look, I got some big men in my family. These are some big overalls. These are the Liberty Bibs. If you don't know about them, they sell pretty good. If you can get them at a good price, you can usually get, you know, at least about $20 for them. If they're bigger sizes like these, maybe 30 or 35. This pair I got 35, 20 plus shipping. And these were a 60-30. 60-30, so a really big size. I knew when I saw these, they were huge, but I knew that they would sell. because you're not going to go to the rack in the store and always find this size on the rack. And there's people out there, that's what they want to wear, and they do really well. All right, so I've only got 3 items left, and I want to just talk a little bit about this new category idea. So as we head into the new year, I want to, always be growing as a seller. And I had sent a message. I watch a lot of the different YouTubers. I go through Instagram and look at a lot of the posts pretty regular as I have time in the afternoons. And of course, most of you are familiar with Kerry at American Arbitrage. He's a great guy, super intelligent. He's been really focusing, of course, most recently on trading cards. And I was doing really well with that, and has so much good information, good videos to help you with that if you're interested. But it's kind of sparked my interest because that's something that I was really passionate about for a large part of my life. All my life growing up, I was huge into baseball, basketball, football, cards, buying, selling, trading as a kid. I still have a ginormous collection, that's put up in the closet, hundreds of Jordan cards and stuff like that. Of course, I was one of those people, my dad was telling me you put your money in this stuff and hold on to it and take care of it. And one day, you'll be able to sell it and have a huge retirement or whatever. You'll have some, really good stuff. And, of course, junk wax, right? That's where I grew up. So, I come into this in the late 80s, early 90s. And, when trading cards were at their heyday, really, but they're producing so many, man, they're just not worth much of anything. There's some gems. There's some, but I found, as most of you know, when it comes to that era, if they're not graded and they're not like a grade 10 pretty much, that's the population you're looking at for really high quality, high value cards, then they're not worth a whole lot. But I love sports. I love the hobby. I love the hobby of trading cards. And so I really feel like maybe in this new year, one of the things that I'm going to do is put some time into doing some more research, kind of into the trends. I know about the newer versions. I have bought cards even in the last year. I still buy trading cards from time to time. I still have an interest and a pleasure in that. But my modern collection is tiny compared to my old collection. And I have not yet ever tried to buy and resell as a reseller online. And so I'm looking at that. I've looked into it before. I've been there where I almost pulled the trigger to start investing in some cards. Wish I had have. I could have done really well if I'd have done it when I thought it was a good time, but I passed it up. But those opportunities come. They come and they go, and there'll be more opportunities to do that. And so that's what I'm looking at. What's your interest? What are you thinking about doing in the new year in terms of a new category? Is there something that you are thinking about diving into, doing some research on, maybe adding to your repertoire of what you specialize in as a reseller? I think that's something for me. Like I said, trading cards, I think maybe the next step for me, something that I would just enjoy kind of tinkering with as I get into this new year. And that's something that, I can go to Walmart and buy some retail packs and play around in that. And I think maybe not lose any money in the end, just break even at the worst, and also get some pleasure out of it. And if I happen to hit on something big, well, hey, that's good. And while I'm learning, along the way, hopefully hone my ability to find what sells well and make some money in that category. All right, last 3 sales. 2, 3, 3 sales. So this next one, this is a pair of AOT Boots. These are really nice. These are the soft tops. These are not ones that you necessarily have to go to a fancy boot store to buy. These are sold a lot of times in the mall, but they're still AOT, and that matters because AOT's a popular brand. I picked these up at the thrift store. I think these were $14.99. Had to clean them up a little bit, condition them with some Dr. Martin's Wonder Blossom. Got them looking sharp again, man. I think they look great. These are a big size. I think these are 13s. Had them listed for probably 3 months, but these wound up selling for $45 plus shipping. $45 plus shipping. I think I had them listed at like $59. They don't list real high because, again, these are kind of like one of the mall versions. But I'm glad. I thought that was a good sale. Next item. I wouldn't suggest that you always buy blank cassettes, but these are Max LXL 290s, the Type 2s, high fidelity. 7 of them unopened, 1 that has been opened and not used, and then a couple of others that are a little different, but it's a box that altogether has 10 in it. I paid $6 for all of this, and I sold this for $55 plus shipping. These can be a good bolo if you get them cheap, especially, and it's the right ones. Again, not every cassette is as good a quality, even for these blank ones, so you have to pay attention to that. Some don't sell as well, but these are a really good quality, a really good grade, and they sell very, very well. The last item is the second pair of chainsaw chaps, Husqvarna. So I'm not going to unfold these, but these are the chaps that go around your waist, hang down over your legs, protect you from the blade when you're running a chainsaw. I'm not sure how many of you have experience with that, but out here where I live, that's just part of life. We cut our own firewood, clean up our own messes when we have problems from storms. So I grew up, around the woods, sawmill, logging, that type of thing, and I've been around chainsaws and busting firewood and sawing lumber, that kind of stuff my whole life, and so very familiar. I've never wore chaps, ironically enough. I sometimes think that's more of a safety precaution for bigger companies, maybe for consumers that are not as experienced. Not saying it wouldn't be safer for me to wear them, but it's just nothing I've ever done. So I've always just grabbed the saw and went to work. But anyway, that's it. I got $50 plus shipping for those. Gave $5 for them at the thrift store. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm thankful to all of you that have subscribed and are watching. Those of you that hang out for the whole video, I appreciate it. If you got any suggestions, guys, for the future, any topics you'd like me to address, anything you'd like to know about me that I haven't talked about, feel free to submit some questions or some comments. I love getting the comments and the feedback. Man, I really appreciate the reselling community. You guys have, in just a short time, a couple of months, just kind of taken me in, accepted me. So many of you have reached out, helped me out, shouted me out, conversed with me from time to time. Guys, I appreciate it. And I just want to remind you that I love you. God loves you. And guys, whatever you do, don't you ever give up. Have a great one.